Hello and welcome to another Tech and Train channel video, and this video will be talking about whether you should buy the Hornby Pendolino or the Bachmann Voyager first, and so on. So first, I'll have a look at the lighting. On both of these trains, there is directional lighting. So there's a headlight on both that works, there's a side light on both that works, and there's the headlights and the rear lights, they work on both. I must say though that the Bachmann ones are slightly less reliable than the Hornby ones and can take a bit of electricity to get them to turn on, so they won't necessarily turn on minimum power. In terms of running speed, the Hornby Pendolino is way above its scale speed. It goes way above 125 miles an hour, 120, which it does on the West Coast Main Line, whereas the Voyager, sadly, does not make it up to 120, and I'd say realistically its scale speed is about 60 miles per hour at maximum. Moving on to price, the Hornby Pendolino is generally cheaper than the Bachmann Voyager. Hornby Pendolinos I've seen for £60 at Wally, whereas the Virgin Voyagers tend to be around £100. However, I got mine for slightly cheaper. If I zoom in on the detail of the Bachmann train, you will see it's very detailed, and there are hazard signs there, which hopefully it will focus soon. And there is detail there are signs which I hope you can see, like the camera doesn't look as if it's focused. And then you've got more detail down the train. The extensive detail is continued down the whole train, right until the very end of the train. However, just by looking at the Hornby Pendolino, you can instantly tell it is nowhere near as detailed as the Virgin Voyager by Bachmann. Virgin Voyager has all the hazard symbols, all of that stuff, whereas the Hornby Pendolino has just got a few bits marked out on the exterior of the train. They're not necessarily painted or anything like that. If you look at the side of the train, of the Virgin Voyager, you can also see that the side is quite detailed, like the top. And if you compare it to the Hornby Pendolino, the Pendolino just compares and it just looks like it's not detailed at all compared to the Virgin Voyager. If you look at the Pendolino's pantograph, which you should hopefully be able to see, it is detailed, but it's not as detailed as other Bachmann trains, unfortunately, which I can't compare to the Voyager, because the Voyager does not have a pantograph because it's a diesel locomotive. So I'll just compare it to the London Midland Class 350, because that is a Bachmann pantograph, and as you can see, it's considerably more detailed. So for the final verdict, I'd say that if you are a serious modeler, you would probably go for the Bachmann Voyager over the Bachmann Pendolino, and you'd get that train first because it is incredibly more detailed, even has interior seating, has all the lights required, it has all the detail is painted, and you wouldn't know that it was produced a couple of years ago and hasn't been produced recently. Whereas the Hornby Pendolino, it's painted. I'll say that. It's got its livery, it's got all the markings of the livery, it's got all the basic details, but it simply hasn't got that extra detail. It hasn't got any seats inside it, it hasn't got all the extra painted details or extra decals that the Virgin Voyager has. I mean, you can't necessarily compare the trains directly because they're not the same train, but just by looking at it briefly, you can tell that the Hornby Pendolino it has the detail, but it has some of the detail, but it's not obvious that it's actually detail. It just looks like part of the design. It just looks like a train and like a toddler would play with. It's not really for the serious modeler. If wishing to view a running session of these trains, there is a recent Virgin Voyager video on my channel, a running video of this, and there is also a running video of the Virgin Pendolino for those who wish to look.